Hi there, I'm Debra Austin with Chaos to Results Business Coaching, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about something that you commonly hear as strategic planning. So, why is it that when most of us hear the word strategic planning, we start thinking about things that take hours and hours and hours to complete? We think about something that's dusty that ends up on the shelf that nobody ever uses. We think about a lot of work, but not necessarily a whole lot of results. Or even worse, as a small business owner, we think strategic planning, well, that's for big companies. The truth is, all of us can benefit from doing strategic planning for our business. In fact, think of it as a gift. And it's a gift that answers three questions. So, why would I say it's a gift? For most of us, it takes something catastrophic to occur before we start to think about what's really important to us, what our real values are, about the life that we want to live. So we pass through this life, basically living someone else's life. We let other people define what success is for us, whether it's climbing the corporate ladder and making millions of dollars, or living on the beach and just being a bum. But we let other people tell us this is good, this is not bad. But we don't think about what is important to us. What do our values say? What makes us happy? What makes our hearts sing? So with strategic planning, we can look at our business. You can also apply this to life, by the way. And we say, what is really important to us? And the first question of those three that we need to answer is, what is our vision? What is our vision for our business and the life that we want it to support? So I want you to just take a moment with me. And I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that you have the life you want. What does it look like for you? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? Okay, so open your eyes. You have an idea of where you want to go. As a coach, I would work with you to talk about what are the values that drive that ideal of what's important to you, because understanding that will help you so much more in the next step. The second question that we want to answer when we talk about this is that what is it that defines where we are now? What is our reality? What is our here and now? And this one gets really tricky. There was an author, I think, Eric Hoffer, who said something like, we lie loudest when we lie to ourselves. So sometimes we pretend that what we're doing and what we're doing in our day-to-day business and our day-to-day world is making us happy. But internally, it's things that we have to do. We have to go to work. We have to get that promotion. We have to. And those are not necessarily things that are driven by who we are and what we want. Because somehow, when we're driven by who we are and what we want, what we say is, I get to. Oh, I'm so excited about. I can't wait for this to happen. And that's where we want to go when we're thinking about our lives and where we want to go. So we need to take a really, really serious look at what we are today. Let me give you an example of what that looks like. As a client, you tell me, your coach, that I really think that spending time with my family is important. Spending time with my children and with my wife is very important. My health is just extremely important to me. It's very important to me. But when we look at what your work week looks like, when we look at what your life looks like, you spend very, very little time with your family. You spend very, very little time with your wife or husband. And you spend no time taking care of your body physically, taking care of your body mentally. So when I hear that, there's a big conflict going on there. I hear this is important, but at the same time, the actions don't support that. And a lot of times that's because we're on that hamster wheel where everybody else is defining what looks good for us, what's successful, what life should be, and not listening to our inner selves and what makes us happy, what makes our hearts sing. So the first thing we want to do when we talk about where are you today is say, what are the things that are important to me? What are things that are important? And then once we know what's important to you, how well are we doing on those things today? How much of our time are we putting into that? How much of our resources are we putting into the things that are important? And those things will again tie back into that vision, that picture that you painted when you closed your eyes just for a few seconds to say, this is my perfect day. This is my perfect world. Okay, so we answered the first question, or at least we started to. What is your vision? We answered the second question, which is exactly where are you today? So now that we know where you are, we can talk about how you're going to get from where you are to that vision that you have. And this is where we do a lot of work together to build your roadmap. So what is in this roadmap? One is we have a certain location that we're at now. We have a destination in mind that we're heading for. We're going to map out a path that will help you arrive there. And for each person, because you're going to a different place, which is your vision, that path may look a little differently. I commonly say, let's think of it as, here's the road you're going to take, and then we're just going to help you navigate your way through it. Now, I use the word navigate for a reason, because often, even with the best laid plans, things will happen. And sometimes there's an obstacle in the road. Sometimes there is a point where the road is shut down or it no longer exists, and you have to navigate around it or go around it or go over it. And sometimes when we take those go-arounds or navigation turns, we find that there are other things along the way that we want to gather before we get to our vision. So we just take a detour and we decide to go that way a little further. But it's a conscious choice as opposed to the default choice where somebody else is telling us what is good, what is right for our lives. So as we build your roadmap, we're going to look at things like, what are the milestones that you're going to pass along the way? You're driving down the highway, think about it. There's mile mark on 121, there's mile mark of 278, there's a mile mark of 249, and we know we need to change to go to this freeway when we get to here. Our path to get you from here to your vision is very similar. We want to have some objectives in there, some goals in there, so that you can say, how am I doing? So if you know you need to be in this location, at this point in time, we can say, okay, how are we doing? And even if you're not there, there's information there for you too as well. Why aren't we there? What are the things that are preventing us from getting there? So if you think about it, each one of these mile markers, each one of these check-in points are some of the things that you need to do to get your business or your life where you want to go. So for example, in a business setting, it may be that, I'm currently a one-man shop. And for me to go down this road to get my vision, I need to have some help. So I might need to hire employees. I may need to get a bookkeeper to help me with my books, who's not necessarily an employee, but somebody's going to work with me. I may need a strategic partner who can help me get into a particular new market that I'm not in yet, that I want to grow my business in. So we think about what those things are that you need to address today to get you moving down the road. But then we want to talk about what some of the obstacles may be. So for example, you're introducing a product to market and it's only in a small segment at this point. It has potential to get bigger, but you can't get there just yet because you don't have the funding. So that's an obstacle, but we plan around what those obstacles are. And the beautiful thing about working with a coach to get through that process is that we're always there to help you use all of that knowledge that you have and look at a different perspective, because we're going to challenge any assumptions that you make. For example, there's no way I can get this to market. Then we can talk about, well, why is that? And dig a little deeper. And sometimes what we'll find along the way is that there really is a way, but because you've already accepted that there isn't, you're not looking any further. But that's another story. We'll come back to that. So we're working on our strategic plan. We know where we are. We know where we want to go. We've got our roadmap, and we've planned for some mile markers. Let's talk a little bit about those obstacles. And these are those things that are just going to pop up and happen. You're in a great meeting, you have a great plan, you walk out the door and there's 5 clients calling you because they're not happy. That's your firefighting, you have to address it. But the point in having that roadmap and having those mile markers is that you can always come back, because you know where you left and you know where you come back in. So at the end of the day, when you think of strategic planning, don't think of it as something that you have to do. Think of it as a way of giving yourself the gift, where you get really, really clear on what you want for your business. You understand where you are today. and you're building a roadmap that will get you from here to there. I'm Debra Austin with Chaos to Results Business Coaching, and hopefully I've given you some new ways to think about strategic planning. Thank you.